Let me welcome everyone for our 45-minute Vinyasa practice today. Go ahead and make your way to your mat if you're not there already, and find a seated posture on your mat. I'm sitting cross-legged. If that works for you, go ahead and do that. If not, you can always sit on the knees in kind of a kneeling posture if that feels better on your legs, your hips, or your knees. And let's take 3 breaths to become present for our practice today. Let your eyes close down and just begin to draw a deep breath in. I'd like you to breathe in and continue breathing in as long as you can do it without feeling like you're straining. So just continue breathing in. And then once you get to that point where you breathed in all you're going to breathe in, then let the breath turn and become an exhale. Let the exhale be slow too, just like the inhale. And keep breathing out until again you reach that point where you feel like you're almost going to strain. And then let the exhale turn into an inhale. And let's find our second breath of the practice. Again, continue breathing in, nice and slow and gently, as long as you can. And then let that inhale turn into an exhale. Continue the exhale. And now let that turn into an inhale. And this is going to be our last breath. And then when you're ready, let that turn into an exhale. And let it go. Find yourself present now on your mat. Bring your hands to your knees, palms facing down. Sit up nice and tall. Draw your navel in. The chin is level. Right ear towards right shoulder. Chin to chest. Left ear towards left shoulder. Look up to the sky. Bring the chin towards the chest. Inhale and level the chin. Left ear towards left shoulder now. And then chin to chest. Right ear towards right shoulder. And lift the chin high. Level the chin. Take a breath. Look to the left, and then look to the right. Try and keep your shoulders level. Look to the left and to the right. Shoulders still back and down, so try not to hug the shoulders towards the ears. Look to the left. Last time, looking to the right, and then back to center. Speaking of shoulders, let's hug the shoulders up towards the ears. Now pull the shoulders back and down. Shoulder blades come together. Inhale, shrug the shoulders up towards the ears. And exhale and bring the shoulders down. One more time. Inhale, shrug the shoulders up, pull them back and then down. On an inhale, reach your arms high. And then exhale the hands to heart center. Press the palms away from you. The fingers are interlaced now. Press through the heels of the hands. Straighten the elbows as much as you can. For most of us, that's going to create a stretch in the shoulders, maybe the armpits, and the back of the arms. On an inhale, reach the arms up, press through the palms, stretch up, and then look up towards the hands, and then release the hands. Bring the gaze down so it's level. Reach the hands apart from one another. Take a very gentle twist to the left. Now palms face to the left. Inhale back to center, and twist to the right. Palms face to the right. Inhale back to center, and over to the left again. Reach the hands apart from one another, and back to center. Keep the spine long as we move through this twisting motion, and then back to center. Reach the arms up high, interlace the fingers, bring the hands to the back of the head. Now press the palms into the back of the head, reach the elbows apart, let your chest rise up, keep the chin level, take a deep breath, and then as you exhale, bring your elbows together. We're going to round the spine forward and bring the elbows down towards the mat. See if you can feel that stretch in the low back. Draw the navel in. Inhale and rise up. Now pull the elbows apart. Now lift your gaze up and look up towards the sky. Exhale, bring the elbows together as the chin comes towards the chest. Bring the elbows down to the mat. Inhale, rise. Second time, reach the elbows apart. Lift the chin. And exhale. This can be the last one. Third time. Elbows come down. And inhale and rise. Reach the elbows apart. Lift the chin. And release the hands. Reach them up high and exhale and bring the arms out to a T. Now bring your right hand down. Keep the right arm straight. And you're going to lean a little bit onto that right hand. Now reach the left hand straight up and then reach through that left hand so you feel a stretch here on the back of the left arm and in the back of the left shoulder. Now let the left elbow bend and bring the left hand to the back of the head. Keep that elbow up over the shoulder or over the head. So try not to bring the elbow forward. Now reach the elbow as far as you can over to that right side and start to feel that big stretch in the left side of the body. One more breath. Keep reaching through the left elbow. Now engage your core and rise up. And now we're going to bring the left hand down and we're going to bend the right elbow and bring the right hand behind the head. Open that right elbow up just like we did on the other side. Ground into the sitting bone on the right side and then pull the right elbow to the left. 2 more breaths. And 1 more. And now engage the core and come all the way up. Let your arms float high. Interlace the fingers. Press the palms towards the sky. Press up high through the palms. And as you exhale, bring the hands down. Keep pressing through the palms. Inhale and up. And exhale and down. Twice more. Inhale and up. And exhale and down. And 1 more time. Inhale and up. And exhale. And bring the hands down. And you can release them. Roll over the knees. And let's come to table pose. I almost forgot which was the front of my mat. Once in table pose, check in with your hands. See if your hands are right below your shoulders. See if your knees are right below your hips. Spine is nice and long here, so we don't want the spine rounded or arched. Now drop the belly and lift the chin and come into cow pose on your inhale. And then as you exhale, move slowly into cat pose. Make an effort to press the hands into the mat. Draw your navel up and bring your chin towards your chest. Now inhale to cow. And exhale to cat. Keep the inhaling and exhaling long, just like we did at the very beginning of the practice. So inhale as long as you can into cow pose until you start to feel a strain coming into the breath. And then let that turn into an exhale and press the hands into the mat and slowly move to cat pose, pressing the hands into the mat and lifting the navel up. Continue breathing in until it becomes a strain, and then let it turn into an inhale. So I got that backwards. That was an exhale going up. Let's keep it going. Inhaling to cow, and exhaling to cat. Let the breath lengthen. Keep it going. 3 more times through. Notice how slowly the breath is moving. Notice how the breath feels in the body. And then notice how the body feels in relation to the breath. Notice how the two are related to one another. 1 more cycle of breath through cow and cat. Now come back to a neutral spine in table pose and walk your hands forward about 4 or 5 inches or so. Make sure that your hips are still right over your knees to begin. Now press the hips to the right. Stay grounded in both hands, particularly that left hand. It'll have a tendency to want to lift up a little bit. Press to the right a little bit more until you really start to feel that in the outside of the right hip. And now glide the hips forward so the weight comes into the hands and your chest is pretty much right over your hands now. And then press the hips back to the left. And then all the way back towards the heels. You won't quite land on the heels. Now continue to move, making circles with the hips, just like we did. Go around 3 or 4 times. Big circles, really noticing how it feels as you move around. And then when you're ready, go back the other way. We'll go back the other way 3 or 4 times as well. Pressing the hips to the side and then back and then to the other side and then bring the hips forward so the weight's in the hands. And let's say 2 more times around. And then think about coming back to a neutral spine. And then once you're there, walk your hands back to table pose. Now reach your left leg back, press back through the left heel, and now point the toes on the left foot, bend the left knee, and then lift your chin up as high as you can, and then press into the hands and lift the left knee a little bit more. And then as you exhale, very slowly transition into a posture where you're bringing the knee towards the chin. Touch the chin with the knees so the spine's deeply rounded, and then press the left heel straight back, straightening that leg. Now point the toes. We're going to do that again on this side. Bend the left knee so the toes point to the sky. Press the hands into the mat and look forward. Lift the knee up a little bit more. And now very slowly transition, bringing that left knee forward, touching the chin with the knee if you can, and then press back through the left heel. Now bring the left knee down, back to table pose, and let's go to the other side. Press back through the right heel to start. Toes are pointing straight down. Now point the toes on the right foot, and then bend the right knee so the toes point to the sky. Now press your hands into the mat, press your chest forward, lift your chin a little higher, and then lift that right knee. This is tiger pose. And then slowly transition, bringing the right knee forward, and then touch the chin with the knee if you can. Press back through the right heel. Toes point down. Now point the toes straight back, bend the knee, and lift your chin. Tiger pose. This is our last one. Now bring that right knee forward. Touch the chin with the knee if you can. And then press straight back through the right heel. Really stretch out of that right hip joint. And then bring the right knee down so it meets the left knee. Now tuck your toes and lift your hips. And let's find our very first downward facing dog. Take a deep breath. And then as you exhale, press the heels down towards the mat. Do that again. Inhale. And exhale. Press the heels down towards the mat. One more time. Inhale. And exhale, press the heels down towards the mat. Maybe your heels are touching your mat, maybe they're not. Don't really worry about it. It's not a measure of anything. And now slowly begin to walk your feet forward to your hands. So what I mean by not a measure of anything is you're not better or worse because you can press your heels to the mat. It's just the way your body is working, either at the moment or in general. Now standing forward fold, let your head drop down. Bend the knees a little bit, take a little bit of that stretch out of the hamstring muscles, and let your head get a little heavier so your forehead will probably come a little closer to your knees or your shins. Now keep your chin on your chest, draw your navel up as you rise, so you're rounding as you come up. Then let your arms float up and overhead, and then bring them to heart center. Take a breath. Now inhale and up. And arms to a T, swan dive, forward fold. This time come to a half lift. Remember, for the half lift, the hands can be on the shins, right below the knees. If you're there, press your palms into the shins so that your head is reaching forward, your neck is lengthening. And then exhale, fold forward, and let your head drop down. Let's do that again. Inhale, half lift. Again, either hands to the top of the knees like this, or maybe you can keep your hands on your mat. Reach your head forward. And exhale, fold forward, let your head drop down. Now chin on chest, round the spine as you rise, coming up. And then let your arms float up and overhead, and exhale and bring the hands to heart center. Let's go through that one more time. Inhale, up and swan dive. Beautiful forward fold, keeping the weight in the front of the feet. Come to a half lift. Spine lengthens here. Feel that stretch in the back of the legs. And exhale, let your head drop down. Bring the hands to the mat if they're not already there. Keep your right foot forward. Step your left foot back into a runner's lunge. That right knee is pressing straight forward. Now step the right foot back into plank pose and bring your hips down so they're aligned with your shoulders and heels. You knew that. You've heard me say that a million times. Keep pressing your hands into the mat so the shoulders are rising. Core is deeply engaged. One more breath. Beautiful. Now the knees to the mat. Untuck your toes and come into Cobra Pose. Press the hands into the mat. The elbows are bent. The heart is pressing forward. The navel is pressing forward. Your gaze is straight forward, not up yet. And then release. Tuck your toes, push to plank, and then let your hips rise right into a downward facing dog. Press your hands into the mat. And now go ahead and pedal it out. Bend one knee and then the other. Feel free to let your hips sway from side to side. A few more times on each side. Follow the breath as it flows in. And keep breathing in until you feel that strain, and then let the inhale turn into an exhale. You can do that one more time. Continue pedaling it out and move through one more cycle of breath. And then come to stillness and downward dog. And for the second time, slowly walk your feet forward to your hands. We're going to come to a standing forward fold for the second time. That is getting into it this way for the second time. Let your head drop down. Bring the weight forward into the front of the feet. Now bring your arms out to a T. Press into the front of the feet as you rise, nice and slow, so you feel it in the gluteal muscles and the hamstrings. And then once you're up, reach your arms up and overhead and bring the hands to heart center. Inhale, reach up and back this time. Come into a back bend. And now, fold forward. Half lift. Exhale the hands down. Step back with the right foot. Left foot is forward this time. Press back on that right heel so the right leg is nice and straight and strong. Feel the stretch in the back of the leg. And then step the left foot back to meet the right foot in plank pose. We're going to find again 3 breaths in plank. Breathe in until you get to that point or that transition zone where you feel like it's too much of a strain to continue breathing in, and then let the inhale turn into an exhale. Then do the same thing in the transition from the exhale to the inhale. And one more. Beautiful. Knees come down to the mat now. Untuck your toes. Let's find our second Cobra Pose. Lift the heart up off the mat. Your gaze is forward for most of you. The elbows tucked in relatively close to the body. And if you want, you can lift your chin a little higher this time, pressing the pubic bone down towards the mat. And then release. Come all the way down. Now tuck your toes, push to plank, and let's lift the hips into downward facing dog. Stretch it out. Now bend the knees. This is the hopping part if you want. Hopping so the feet end up between the hands. You can walk, of course, if you like to. Let the weight come into the front of the feet. So notice how I'm bringing my weight forward so that I have to bring my hands in front of my feet in order to sort of balance myself. Now bring the arms out to a T. Keep pressing into the front of the feet as you come up. And let your arms float high. And exhale and bring your hands to heart center. Take 3 breaths now. The eyes can close down if you like. And again, feel the breath flowing through your body. Feel that zone where if you continue breathing in, it will become a strain, or breathing out, whichever you're doing. And then let the breath turn from either an inhale to an exhale or an exhale to an inhale. One more cycle through. Good. Now bend your knees. Let's come down to chair pose. So I brought my feet so they're even with one another and parallel. I'm reaching up through my shoulders, and I'm pulling my tailbone down towards my heels. I did a bike ride today, which actually felt really nice. So my quads are a little tired already, but I'm still going to bend my knees a little bit more and pull my tailbone towards my heels. Lift your gaze so you're looking straight forward and not down, and then bring your hands to heart center. Let's find a prayer twist. Bring the left elbow, I'm going to turn to face you, the left elbow to the right knee. The right elbow is reaching up to the sky. You can look up towards that right elbow. Now come back to center with the hands still at heart center, and then over to the other side. Left elbow reaches high, right elbow on the left knee. Take a breath. And then back to center. Back to chair pose. Now straighten the legs and swan dive, forward fold. Come to a half lift. Exhale and release the hands. Left foot steps back, plank pose. Left foot steps back to runner's lunge. So your right foot is forward, right knee is bent about 90 degrees. Take a breath. And then let the left knee come to the mat and untuck the toes on that left foot. Press into your right foot and rise. This is a low crescent lunge, reaching up through the wrists. I just need to make sure that I wasn't squishing that mic. Reach up high. Press that right knee forward. Now follow the breath, flowing in, turning and flowing out. One more time, follow the breath in, and then let it flow out. Now the arms out to a T. Take a twist to the right and bring your left elbow to your right knee. Join your palms. Stack that right elbow over the palms. Stay with your breath. And one more. Now keep the palms together. Press into the right foot and rise, and then reach the arms high. Now bring the hands behind you and interlace your fingers behind your back. Press the knuckles towards the left heel. Straighten the elbows if you can. Now lift your chin a little bit if you want. Look up towards the sky. Now level the gaze, release the arms, and then bring the hands down on either side of the right foot. Tuck your toes and bring the left knee off the mat, and then step the right foot back to plank pose. One breath cycle here. Now flow through a vinyasa. I'm going to do a chaturanga into upward dog. See if you can lift your knees off the mat. And then when you're ready, downward facing dog. Stretch it out now. Press your hands into the mat. Make a real effort to reach your tailbone towards the top of the wall behind you. Just visualize that lengthening. Now bend the knees and hop so the feet end up between the hands, arms to a T. Press into the front of the feet and rise. Reach up high. And then as you exhale, second chair pose. Gaze is forward towards the front of your space. Just one more breath. Now straighten the legs and swan dive. Beautiful forward fold. Half lift. And exhale and let your head drop down. Now the left foot stays forward. The right foot steps back. I got it right this time. Runner's lunge with that left knee bent. Press back on the right heel again. And then bring the right knee to the mat. Untuck the toes on the right foot. Now press into your left foot as you come up. Reach up high. Reach through the wrists. Press that left knee forward. Now bring your arms out to a T. And behind you, interlace the fingers using the non-dominant grip. Press the knuckles towards that right heel, straightening the arms if you can. Lift your chin if you want to. Moving into a deeper back bend. Release the hands. Let them float up and then out to a T. Take your twist to the left. Bring the right elbow to the knee. Join the palms and breathe. Breathe in until it feels like it's going to be a strain, and then find the exhale. Breathe out until you feel the strain coming, and then breathe in. Finish this cycle of breath, and then keep the palms together. Press into the left foot and reach the arms high. And hands come down on either side of the left foot. Tuck your toes. The right knee comes off the mat. Now step the left foot back to plank pose. Breathe in and out. And one more time. In and out. Now flow through a vinyasa into upward dog. Knees off the mat if you can. And then transition to downward dog on the exhale and stretch it out. Now bend the knees and find your hop forward, standing forward fold. Now the arms out to a T, reverse swan dive, rising. This is about our 5th one of those. And reach up. And then as you exhale, chair pose. Bend the knees. Hands to heart center. Chair twist. Left elbow to right knee. Back to center. Right elbow to left knee. Twisting to the second side. Back to center, back to chair. And then straighten the legs. And exhale. And let your hands come to heart center. Take a breath. And one more. Now hinge at the hips. And fold forward. Come to a half lift again. And then as you exhale, step the left foot all the way back. So nice long runner's lunge. Leave the left hand on the mat. Reach your right hand high. Now bring the right hand down inside the right foot. Bring the left knee to the mat. And let's find lizard pose. Untuck the toes on the left foot. Right knee is still bent about 90 degrees. If you can, bring the left elbow down to the mat. And then the right elbow. That'll create a big stretch in the hip on the right side. 2 breaths. Feel the breath flowing and feel the transition between the inhales and exhales. One more complete cycle of breath, an inhale and an exhale. Good. Now walk back up onto the hands. Then tuck the toes and bring the left knee off the mat. Now spin your left heel to the mat. Leave the right hand on the mat, right inside the foot, and reach the left hand high. The right knee is still bent about 90 degrees. The left hand is over the left shoulder over the right shoulder over the right hand, more or less. Now press into the right foot and rise to Warrior Two. And settle into Warrior Two. If you want to check your alignment here, go ahead. Toes on the left foot pointing to the left side of the mat. Toes on the right foot pointing straight forward. That right knee is pointing the same direction as the toes on the right foot. Your gaze can be forward, or if you need to look at your screen, go ahead and do that. Take a breath. Now straighten the right leg. Bring the left hand down. Reach up and back with the right hand. Now draw your navel in so you're not arching your low back too much. Press into the right foot and then reach with the right hand a little bit more so you're lengthening the right side body. Now the arms come out to a T. Bend the right knee, Warrior Two. Now straighten and bend and straighten and bend and straighten. Now press into the left foot, your back foot. Reach your right hand forward as we come towards triangle pose. The left hand reaches high. So this is the same as where we started on this side, except now the right leg is straight before the left leg or the right leg was bent. Now bend the right knee. We'll come back right to where we began. And then bring the left hand down. Come onto the ball of that back foot, the left foot. And then step the right foot back to plank pose. Bring your hips down so they're aligned with your shoulders and heels. Lots of strength in the body. And flow through a vinyasa. Upward dog. Take a breath or two here. And when you feel it's time, downward facing dog. Good job. Now on an inhale, reach the left leg up and find three-legged dog, opening the hips to the left, pressing down on the right heel. And then level the hips off and bring the left foot down. Press the left heel down, reach the right leg up, find three-legged dog on the other side, opening the hips to the right this time. keeping the shoulders square to the front of the mat. And then level the hips and bring the right foot down. Now pick the left foot up, point the toes, lift the left leg a little higher, and then step the left foot forward so it comes between the hands. Right hand stays on the mat, left hand reaches high. This is our lunge twist. Same thing we did on the other side. And then the left hand comes down inside that left foot, and the right hand reaches high. Now spin the right heel to the mat and rise to Warrior Two. You're looking at my back. I think I'll just stay this way today. Now straighten the right leg, or left leg rather, and reach up and back with the left hand into our reverse triangle pose. Press into the left foot. Reach through the left hand a little more so you really feel a big stretch on that left side body. Now the arms come out to a T, and then Warrior Two, and straighten the leg, and bend, and straighten, and bend, and straighten, and bend. Now bring the left hand down inside that left foot, reach the right hand high, and then bring the right hand down, come up onto the ball of that back foot, and then come down to the elbows if you can. Lizard pose, second side. Left knee hugging in towards the left shoulder. Or if you want to experiment, you can let the left knee come out to the side a little bit. It'll give you a different feel depending on where you put that knee. And I also have my right knee off the mat and my toes tucked. You can do the knee down and untuck the toes. That'll make the pose a little bit less intense, actually quite a bit less intense. Now follow your breath. Feel it flowing in. Feel the breath turn and become an exhale. And one more time, breathing in. Keep breathing in as long as you can do it without straining. And then let the breath turn into an exhale and continue to breathe out. Now walk back up onto the hands and bring that left hand outside the right foot, or the left foot rather. Tuck the toes and bring the right knee off the mat. Now left foot steps back into plank pose. Gaze is forward a little bit, so about a foot in front of the hands. And now flow through a vinyasa. Upward dog. And when you feel ready, downward dog. Press your heels down towards the mat so you're really starting to feel that great stretch in the back of the legs. The key here is to reach the tailbone up and back and press the hands into the mat so you're really stretching. And now release down and bring the knees to the mat and then bring your knees wide. We're going to move to child's pose. So let your tailbone come down towards the heels. Forehead rests on the mat. The arms are reaching forward. Keep a little tension in the back. Now, just follow your breath. Follow it as it flows in and out. And in and out. 2 more breaths. And 1 more. Now rise to table pose and bring your knees back so they're just about hip width apart. Then cross your ankles behind you and come to a seat. Once you're seated, face the front of the mat and then bend your knees. Bring your hands to the back of the knees and then pick your heels up so that the heels are about at the same level as the back of the knees, so that the shins are pretty much parallel to your mat. Now what I want you to do is to lengthen your spine, draw your navel in, and now make an effort to pull your shoulder blades together a little bit on the back, and keep your chin in a nice neutral position so the chin doesn't lift up or tuck towards the chest. Just nice neutral position. Your gaze is a little bit above level because your back is kind of leaning back a little, so your gaze will be up a bit if your chin is in the right spot. Now just straighten the legs, don't think much about it. And you can keep the support of the hands in the back of the knees. Keep the spine long and keep your shoulder blades still coming together, pushing towards one another on your back. Now lean back just a little bit and then release some of the pressure of the hands in the legs if you're gripping nice and tight there. And then if you want, reach your hands forward into boat pose, full version of boat pose. Keep the spine long. Your gaze will be up a little bit higher. Take one more breath. And then slowly let your heels float to the mat. Good work, everybody. Reach the arms high. And then exhale and fold forward over both legs. Let your forehead come down towards the shins or the knees. Now, chin on chest, round your spine. Draw your navel towards the spine as you come up. And then as you exhale, bend the left knee and bring the sole of the left foot to the inside of the right thigh. And now hug that left knee in with the right arm. So I've got my knee kind of in the crook of the arm. And then bring the left hand behind you. Press through the right heel. Breathe in really deeply. We've been practicing that the whole day or the whole practice. And then exhale and twist and look over that left shoulder. Very little weight on that left hand. It's just there to support you, not to support any weight. Breathe in again. Breathe in as long as you can without straining. And then exhale and let the breath come out again until you feel strain on the exhale. One more. And then let it go. Come back to center. And let's go over to the other side of the pose. So bend the right knee this time. Sole the right foot to the outside of the left thigh. Notice, I'll turn back here for a minute. Notice that foot outside the thigh is, the sole of the foot is on the mat. So if you can do that, go ahead and do that. If you can't quite get the whole sole of the foot on the mat, that's okay too. Now, I'm going to hug that knee in, again, in the crook of my arm, but another option is to bring the elbow to the top of the knee like this, and then bring your hand behind you. That allows you to create some leverage, if you want, to help in the twisting. But let me encourage you not to force yourself into the twist too much. It's not necessary to do that. All you need to do is surrender into the twist. Now press through the left heel, take a deep breath, and then once you breathe in as long as you can, then exhale and find that twist, looking over the right shoulder. Draw the navel in a little here. Very little weight on that right hand. 2 more breaths. The same way we've been practicing for the whole duration of this practice. And 1 more breath. And let it go. Come out of the pose slowly. And then reach your hands forward. Knees are bent about 90 degrees. And then slowly come all the way down. Once you're there, we're going to find a supine figure 4. So bring the right ankle to the left knee. And then interlace your fingers behind that left leg, either above the knee like this, or if you want, you can capture the whole leg and bring your interlaced fingers below the left knee. Either way, hug the left knee in and press the right knee away. Now the other day I showed you how to do this using the wall. And if you haven't seen that video, go ahead and look at, I don't remember if it was the last one, so that would be last Saturday, or whether it was Thursday, but one of those. I showed you how to do that. Keep pressing that right knee away and keep hugging the left knee in. Back of the shoulders resting on the mat. Just one more breath here. And release. And let's find the second side of the pose, left ankle to the right knee. And then hug that right knee in, the left knee presses away. Come back to your breath. Breathe in, follow the breath as it continues to flow in until you feel that point or that zone where you're just beginning to feel strain in breathing. And let the inhale turn into an exhale. Keep pressing the left knee away from you. Opening up that hip on the left side. And one more round of breath. And let it go. Release from the pose. We're going to do another hip opening pose, this time happy baby pose. Soles of the feet are reaching up towards the sky. The elbows are coming close to the armpits. And then the tailbone is pressing down. So do your best to keep your shins perpendicular to your mat, perpendicular to the floor. And the shins are about parallel with one another. So that means the feet and the knees are about, well, let me say it differently. It means the feet are about the same distance away as the knees are away from one another. One more breath. Now bring the soles of the feet together and cup your hands around the pinky toe side of the feet. And then let your tailbone come down and let your heels come closer to your pubic bone. Now press the tailbone into the mat and keep pulling your heels towards your pubic bone. Feel the knees opening, feel the stretch in the inner part of the thighs, maybe into the groin, perhaps the outer part of the hips. Let's find 2 more breaths. And one more. Now release the hands from the feet. Reach the heels all the way up to the sky, finding legs up the wall pose. Now if you've lifted your tailbone up like I did, pull the tailbone back down. At the same time, press the soles of the feet all the way up towards the sky. So you're lengthening the legs, lengthening from the hips all the way through the soles of the feet. And let's finish by bringing the arms out to a T, letting the knees bend so that the heels come towards the back of your legs. And now bring your knees so that they're right over the hips, and then let your knees flow over to the left. And then bring them back to center and to the right. And back to center and over to the left. And back to center and to the right. We're just kind of massaging the very lowest part of the back, and over to the left and to the right. And once you end up on the right, let your knees land and then bring your gaze to the left. Supine twist. Your gaze is, of course, off to the left. Now take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, let your knees float back to center and then over to the left side. Let the knees land there and bring your gaze off to the right. Now follow the breath as it flows in and out and in and out. Now breathe in deeply. On the exhale, let the knees float back to center. And now hug the knees in towards your chest. If it feels good, you can bring your forehead towards the knees, rounding the spine really deeply forward. And then when you're ready, bring yourself to a seat. And once you're seated, you're going to let your eyes stay closed down. Bring your hands to heart center, assuming your eyes were closed before. And let us now bring a conclusion to today's practice by taking a deep breath in. Keep breathing in until you feel that strain coming. And then let the inhale turn into an exhale and let the breath just flow out. And let it continue to flow out until you feel like you're straining on the exhale. And then just let it go. Thank you so much for joining me today. I wish you, as I always do, loving kindness. Join me, if you like, in offering loving kindness to all beings. May you be happy and well, and may you be safe. May you be peaceful, and may you be at ease. Namaste.